go. We are back on another episode of the Daily Medieval Podcast, and today we are looking at what is one of my great passions in this life, alongside medieval history, which is the incredible sport of BUHURT. BUHURT is a very new sport. Essentially, though, it is fighting in the same, as boxers do, as other martial arts do, fighting using medieval manuscripts, using medieval armor and weaponry to kind of emulate kind of how people fought in tournaments. So anyone who's seen like the film Knight's Tale, perfect example when Heath Ledger's in the tourney, fighting in armor, one on one with I believe it's a longsword actually in the film. Essentially, that's kind of like an element of BUHURT, really. So today we're going to be looking at some of my videos. We're going to be reacting to them, explaining them, talking about them, and I think you're going to enjoy them a great amount. So let's jump right into it with the first one. So this is our first video of me fighting, which is a brilliant one of the longswords. So this is actually the most recent one. It was only taken last week. Oh, there is an excellent headbutt in this, which is really funny. I mean, you can't actually feel a thing. Now, it's quite funny when you look at movies that essentially, people cut into each other and slice up each other. But when you're fighting in armor, you actually see the fact that, firstly, it's extremely tiring. You can't quite fight and slash as maybe some people do in movies, but also that you are extremely protected. We're using long swords that weigh several kilos. The armor itself, my armor, weighs about 40 kilos, and you can just swing at each other as much as you like, and without any avail. And so that's the first video. It's an extraordinary video. I do love that headbutt. But yeah, you cannot really feel a thing. And it just kind of shows, when people were fighting in battles, the main thing really was to tip your opponent over flat on the ground and then get through the eyes, under the arms, in places that weren't protected. So the essence of BUHURT, as you may have gathered here, is that we fight each other for a minute, and it's about scoring hits. So basically, each hit you get is another point. I can't quite remember who wins this one, but usually you'll have several people counting for each person. Your job as the fighter is just to hit and block. But at this point, I mean, you can see as we go past 30 seconds or so that we begin to tire. But yeah, so epic stuff it is. So there we go, hitting and blocking. There are several beautiful manuscripts that we use to be able to learn these things. The one that I've got is called The Art of Sword Combat, which is a German treatise in 1568 that we used, but there are plenty of others that tell you all sorts of positions and everything. It's very accurate, not reenactment, as many people would like to try and say. There we go. Very wonderful video. I do love the longsword. So there we go. That's our first one. Here we have my debut in the Passage of Arms tournament. Oh, this was so intense. It was my first ever tournament. I wanted to make the club happy. My girlfriend was there. She'd never seen it. She would always say, "Oh, it's just reenactments." I was like, "You've got to come and you've got to watch." And oh my god, it was absolutely insane. I ended up winning this match. I got two wins. You do two rounds. Whoever wins, you might end up doing more. But this was 2 rounds. I won both of them. And my opponent, his longsword was really quite heavy actually. I'd have a cheeky little kick in there. But yeah, it was literally as soon as we go, it was hit, block, hit block, as best as I could. And it really was some awesome stuff. But I was proper puffed out after that. I was so worn out after that win. I was so glad I got the win. I ended up losing the rest of them. I mean, there were some people that went 12, 15 rounds, and I only did probably about 4 or 5 in total. I mean, it was incredible, some of the fitness that these guys have. But yeah, so after this, I mean, that his sword was there's a maximum weight, and he was just under it, and he put some proper dents and scratches into my helmet. It was extraordinary. But there we go. That was, gosh, look at that. Extraordinary stuff. But it's just the adrenaline rush. Just gets you. Beautiful. So our next video is of basically the team fights. So the one we saw before was one-on-one, but then there were also team fights that you can get basically 3, 4, 5 people fighting each other. And the aim here is to get them on the floor. So here you can see that they kind of grab on to what's called the list. So this is the thing that kind of details the kind of grounds that you fight in, and you can hold on to it and to make sure that you stay up. And I mean, it's absolutely awesome. You can see that, the way that you grab onto each other, that you try and hook their legs, that's called grappling, to get them on the floor. It takes a lot of strength. I was recently, back in September, up against some massive people at the competition, Passage of Arms, and it was absolutely extraordinary. And you would grab onto these people, you would try and pull them down, nothing would happen. These are some 6-foot+ guys that are just incredible. What they do is amazing. So that is that. Very massively tiring stuff. That is. The drills, you can do a fair few rounds, but you need some serious fitness to be able to do the team fights. Absolutely insane. But there we go. That's our second beautiful video there of BUHURT. So this is another video from training. This one I was far more kind of stationary, kind of not moving as much, but really moving with the arm as much as I can. My opponent very defensive, kind of putting the sword in front of them so you can kind of figure out where they're going to go and block it very easily. This was a very energetic fight. You can see a lot of movement around between the sword and the shield, to kind of make sure you can preempt and kind of cover your bases for when they attack. And there's some kind of elements of grappling as well, but it's quite an even match, I think. Really, it was quite a good match. Yeah, quite an awesome one. So this is a short little clip. You can see me there. This is what I mean, is when you do the BUHURT group fights, it is mental. I mean, this guy is so much more larger than I am, and he is absolutely destroying me. He's pushing me around. This one, I mean, I have a small little mace. I'm tapping it on his head like it's doing anything. Really, what I should have done here, which I have seen in some, which is if you have a really big guy, or just anyone really, who's kind of running at you, try to step to the side and trip them up. The aim of the game is to get them on the floor, so if you can trip them up, that's what you need to do. My stupidity here, you could say, was that I held my breath and I just took it. He was running at me. I've had it, several times, even when I've had it where they're throwing a pole arm at you, you can see it coming, you brace for it, and then they hit, and it gets you. This was kind of one of those moments. I could see him begin to run at me, and you can kind of see I kind of put my head down just to take it. And yeah, I do, but I should have, because I mean, this guy is quite big. Should have just kind of tried to step to the side, kind of dodge it a bit, and get him down, because I did not last long. He actually, when this clip cuts, he actually ends up pushing me all the way from one end to the other, and I ended up having an armor failure. One of my pieces of armor came loose, and then I was out. Sure, I could have taken him, but no, there we go. That was the craziness of the group fights. So here we have the one to remember, the knockout. So we're both fighting here. We're training. We're training with pole arms. Now I will say actually, my opponent was using an illegal weapon, the golden dog. And there I go down. Oh my gosh. So we're using two hand arms. You can see I'm kind of getting battered around. This was when I didn't put adequate safety measures into my helmet. Not enough padding. We're kind of going at it. Pushes me out of the way. I was kind of tired. Boom! Straight smacks me on. As soon as it makes contact on the back of the head, I'm down. And I go straight down. I was proper out of it for about an hour. It is crazy. We look at it one more time. So we're jostling. Kind of goes round. This is why I'm not a fan of the pole arms. You can't do any damage with the sword. But yeah, as soon as it contacts, I'm out and I hit the floor. Absolutely insane. I mean, it just shows you how good the armor is, because without it, I would, I'd done for. It would have split the head open. But there we go. So there we have it. I do hope you enjoyed. That is BUHURT, and just a taster of it. I'll do another future episode about my armor itself. I actually had one planned a while ago, you may remember, but my phone became decimated during training, so unfortunately I lost those videos. Nevertheless, I will definitely do a video on my armor and all the different types of it. Like I say, it's all historically accurate. We do all of the kind of things that we do are historically accurate as much as possible, apart from the odd bits of duct tape that I use to roll up the armor, make sure it stays on. But yeah, aside from that, I do hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, BUHURT is... Oh gosh, what did I do there? BUHURT is... one of my most favourite things to do, and I do hope you enjoyed that. And it's an amazing way to explore the medieval era. I once had a lecturer be like, nowadays we don't know what it's like to be a knight and dress in armor and fight, and it's like, yeah, that's true and everything, but on the weekends, I do get in the kit and bash it out with someone. But you get in the kit, you fight, really is good fitness, and you meet some incredible people from it. So thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed some absolutely phenomenal matches there. And do join me for another episode in due course. Thank you very much.